Chair Morgan, we have 2 public comments that are for the citizens comment
Okay,
area of the agenda, portion of the agenda.
sounds good. For the citizens comment period. Let me write that down. Welcome, Emmanuel.
Hello.
Hello.
Well, we're still shy of it. Okay. So we'll go ahead and call the Sacramento Housing Redevelopment Commission to order for the December 1st, 2021 meeting. Because these meetings are currently being held remotely, options for comment include comments may be emailed to publiccomments@shra.org, and they will be read into the record during the meeting. Comments may also be made by phone by dialing 888-970-1444 to comment during the citizens' comments agenda item. Please call after roll call has ended. To comment on a specific agenda item, please call at the beginning of that agenda item. Request that all commissioners and staff and participants keep their microphones muted unless they're speaking, like at roll call time. And because we're on Zoom, instead of looking up and down the dais, I will be looking for the raised hand indicators and people waving their hands in the screen or jumping up and down. So that will take us to roll call. Open all mics, please.
Sure. Amanfor,
Here.
Boyd,
Here.
Griffin, Morgan,
Here.
Nunley,
Here.
Roslini, she won't be in. Ross,
It's the first time I've ever done Zoom on my phone. I can't believe how easy it is.
Ross, Schumacher Hodge, Schumacher Haas, Schumacher Hodge or Ross. Okay. Stajabu,
Here.
Starks, Wu will not be in today. Do we have either Starks or Schumacher Hodge? Or Ross?
Ross.
All right.
Here.
Ross?
Is here.
Here.
Excellent. We have a quorum.
All right, thank you very much. The agenda is approved as submitted, unless somebody has an objection to it. Seeing no objections, the agenda is set. Citizens' comments. Could you read the paragraph for us, please?
Sure can. While the commission welcomes and encourages participation in the commission meetings, please limit your comments to 3 minutes so that everyone may be heard. SHRA provides opportunities for the public to address the commission at this time in order to listen to opinions regarding non-agendized matters within the subject matter jurisdiction of SHRA. Consistent with the Brown Act, public comment periods on the agenda are not intended to be question and answer periods or conversations with commission members. Members of the public with questions are encouraged to contact staff before or after the meeting. Members of the public wishing to provide comments should either email comments to publiccomments@shra or present them verbally by calling 888-970-1444.
All right, thank you. And I understand we have 2 comments.
We do. All right, so I will, the first one is from Nikisha Barthel. And it's SHRA is fraud. I've been waiting 4 months from July 2021 for July 2021 rental assistance to be paid. Why was this program offered if it's not assisting the population? It told HUD that it was here to assist. I urge an immediate audit of SHRA for the new round of funding is released. I submitted an application to help pay July 2021 rent. My landlord has yet to be paid. I've received several harassing emails and phone calls about documentation. I've complied with all requests. I gave SHRA so much of my personal information that they even more than they requested, but yet no payment nor customer service. Who is running this program and who created this fraudulent program? On the other hand, I've received advertising emails for SHRA, such as you may qualify for more rental assistance and other advertisements. Why hasn't my landlord received payment yet? According to SHRA's portal, it's still pending. Why is HUD giving this program an additional $99 million when they will be the root cause of millions of evictions, creating homelessness? I thought that the mission was to end homelessness. Please advise Nikisha Barthel.
Okay.
That's the first. The second comment is from Angie Robinson. Tanya Cruz from SHRA, Sacramento Housing Redevelopment Agency, called my phone to tell me I was ineligible for emergency rental assistance due to not providing the owner's phone number of the address where I sublease. My rental arrears are owed to the landlord who I rented from. When my sister heard Tanya Cruz say this, she said she didn't need to provide all the information Tanya Cruz asked me for. Tanya asked my sister's name and birth date, then told her she would not be getting assistance that has already been approved for disbursement tomorrow. And that concludes the public comments.
Okay, thank you.
And those have both been forwarded to the department.
I don't believe they have yet. We just got them.
Yes. Okay, if you could forward them to the SHRA department for our follow-up.
Absolutely.
All right, thank you. Okay, that takes us to the approval of the minutes from November 3rd. Any changes or corrections to the minutes as submitted? Seeing none, the minutes from November 3rd are approved. We have 2 items on consent: the approval of Commitment to Choice Neighborhoods Implementation Grant Funds to Marisol Village Block D, Twin River Phase 4 City Report, and Marisol Village Project Commitment of up to $2 million of Choice Neighborhoods Implementation Grant Funds for Block D County Report. Is there any questions, commissioners, or I'll take a motion?
I'll make a motion to accept if there are no questions.
Okay. I have a
I'll
second.
second.
We have a motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Amanfor,
Aye.
Boyd,
Aye.
Griffin, Morgan,
Aye.
Nunley,
Aye.
Ross,
Aye.
Schumacher Hodge,
Aye.
Stajabu,
Aye.
Starks, Wu, and he's not available. So the motion carries.
Great, thank you. That takes us to business. Approval of the 2022 Sacramento Housing and Redevelopment Agency maintenance and agency schedules of fees and charges.
Pardon, the motion we just voted on was to accept that there were no questions.
No, it was, if there's no questions, I was going to take the motion for the item.
Okay,
And I made the motion to approve if there were no questions. There were
okay.
no
Maybe I
questions.
misheard and that's why I was concerned.
Okay.
Thank you.
We were trying to be on top of it. Okay, so business item 3 is approval of the 2022 Sacramento Housing and Redevelopment Agency maintenance and agency schedules of fees and charges.
Okay, and we, Trish, there
Yes.
you are. I'm looking for you on my Zoom screen. Trish
Hello.
is going to give the presentation on this.
Okay. Good evening. Thank you, Lachelle. Good evening, Chair Morgan and members of the commission. My name is Trish Simpson, and I'm one of the management analysts for property management. The agency first implemented a schedule of fees and charges back in 1983. This schedule has been revised in subsequent years to reflect any additions, deletions, and/or increases to the prior year's schedule to ensure that we're congruent with the present market rates. So the proposed schedule has been shared with you, and it's intended to return the actual costs incurred by the agency for any materials and services performed. The report before you recommends adoption of the attached resolution, which does two things. One, provides the updated Sacramento Housing and Redevelopment Agency and Housing Authority's 2022 maintenance schedule of fees and charges. And two, it authorizes the executive director or her designee to implement and distribute the 2022 schedule of fees and charges. Is there any questions on this?
Questions of commissioners? I see nobody bouncing up and down or raising their hand.
Okay, that concludes my presentation. Thank you for your attention and approval.
Any public comment on this item?
No comment.
Okay,
Make a motion to approve.
thank you. Do we have a second?
A second.
Motion by Nunley, second by Sujamo. Roll call, please.
Amanfor,
Aye.
Boyd,
Aye.
Morgan,
Aye.
Nunley,
Aye.
Ross,
Aye.
Schumacher Hodge. Aye. Sajabu,
Aye.
Starks. Motion carries.
All right, thank you. Business item number 4 is authorization for the Sacramento Housing and Redevelopment Agency to demolish the building at 5420 Auburn Boulevard for environmental remediation and the sale of the property at 5410 and 5420 Auburn Boulevard.
I have Mike Taylor here from our staff who's going to do the presentation.
Thank you, Lachelle. Thank you, Chair Morgan and Commissioners. My name is Mike Taylor. I'm the Director of Real Estate and Construction here at SHRA. And I've been working on this building for many years. So I'll give you a quick history of how we got to this point in time. So in 2008, SHRA purchased a 6.5 acre parcel of land at the corner of Auburn Boulevard and Garfield Avenue, which we refer to as our Auburn Garfield site. It was part of a larger retail center that was anchored by a Kmart store, which was closed back in 2000. And after collaboration with county officials, it was decided that a senior apartment complex would be the optimal project for this site. So the land was subdivided into 2 parcels. So the 6.5 acre parcel became a 4.3 acre parcel for the housing, and the remaining 2.2 acres for commercial use, because there were already 2 commercial buildings on that part of the land. So after the Foothill Farms apartments were built, there's 120 units there. Construction was finished on that in 2012. The developer, said they weren't interested in the commercial parcel. So we've owned it, SHRA has owned it ever since, this 2 acre parcel that the building that we want to demolish is on. So there are currently 2 buildings on that 2 acre parcel. The subject building at 5420 Auburn Boulevard previously had a dry cleaner in the mid 1970s, which released polychloroethylenes or PCEs into the ground. Our environmental consultant indicated there was a breach in the sewer line. So it's possible that some chemicals were dumped into the sewer line. But in any event, our environmental consultant recommended that we install monitoring wells so that we could monitor the levels of these PCEs in the groundwater. The levels were very low, but they were still above the minimum thresholds to get clearance. And so we have been monitoring them ever since. The water boards, or the the wing of the EPA that has been sort of our governing agency, indicated that the levels had reached a point where we didn't need to monitor them anymore, but they wouldn't let us destroy the wells until the other environmental issue there, which is soil vapor, was also remediated, and that has proven to be our sort of remaining issue, is this soil vapor. So so there are a couple of reasons why we want to demolish this building. One of which is to make this final remediation of the soil vapor much easier, because it is present just under the building's floor slab. And after trying to extract it with this fairly elaborate extraction device that was, we had to jackhammer some of the concrete out and install it. It still didn't really get us where we needed to be, and was fairly costly. So, so in addition to that, the other reason that we want to demolish the building is that by splitting the lot to create the Foothill Farms lot, and the fact that we have a reciprocal parking agreement, so that some of the parking spaces on the commercial lot are used by the housing site, there's a pretty serious shortage of parking spaces on that lot. And the building is in need of much rehabilitation if we were going to reoccupy it. So there's currently only one tenant left. In the staff report, at the time I wrote the staff report, there were two, one left in late October, Check Into Cash, the check cashing company. So there's only one tenant left in this building, who is going to leave at the end of this month. That's Great Cut Hair Salon. So the building will be vacant at the end of this year, by the end of this month. And so we hired an appraiser to appraise the building back in April, with the assumption that that building was gone, because the broker that we've worked with for many years and is very familiar with this site said that the property would be much more desirable to future buyers if that building was gone. So it would solve the parking issue. We'd create space for more parking. We'd get an old building out of the way, and we can finish remediating our lingering environmental issues. So for all those reasons, we would like to receive approval to remove this building, demolish it, and finish remediating the environmental problem, and then sell the property.
And I think also too, I did see a note about pictures. There are an attachment 3 of the staff report, pictures of the actual building.
That's correct, Michelle. There's also a site plan in the report. So the other building that would remain is newer, in much better shape. It used to house the Department of Corrections. That was one of the tenants there. It was a restaurant there. So that building would remain. It does not have an environmental issue.
Yep. So we're available for any questions that you may have.
Okay, I see two hands up. First Martin and then Cecile.
I think I kind of put my notes in the chat. I did read over the information, but somehow I may have missed the photo, so I'll go back and take a look at that. Yeah, I've worked with Mike on different projects, so I appreciate his assessment. So yeah, that sounds like good stuff and a good use for the property. And so I like what I'm hearing. So that's just my comment. I'm going to try to take a look at the photos, but in general, the description sounded good to me.
All right, Cecile.
I concur with Commissioner Ross. As I was reading over it and listening to your report, it sounded like you did everything that you possibly could. And this almost sounds like it's been a nightmare trying to remediate these things and get it cleared up. And my sympathies for you.
Thank you.
But I think
I
that
lost a little bit of hair on this project.
but I appreciate that the report was thorough and the item was thorough, and it sounds like you are following all of the state and federal guidelines, was trying to mediate and mitigate everything concerning this. So I just wanted to make a comment and say thank you so much for the hard work. And I can only, my heart just goes out to you, because this sounds like it was a nightmare trying to get rid of the remaining fumes. So if there are no other questions, I am wholeheartedly willing to make the motion to approve this.
We do have one other question and one more comment. First, the comment. Mike, as you can see, I have not been working on that project. Barry, you're up next.
Thank you, Chair. Good evening, everyone, and my apologies for being off video. I'm trying to get to a device that has video that will work, but at the rate we're going, by the time I get to it, we already may conclude. With that, I do have a couple of questions for you, Mike, and if you would, what is soil vapor?
So the PCEs, which are the offending substances that we've been trying to remediate, dry cleaning establishments throughout the state are notorious for releasing these into the ground, and by virtue of the chemical, it falls pretty quickly into deep into the ground. So it's usually a groundwater issue, but vapors that happen at the surface also can be a problem. Not always, but in this case they were, probably because the sewer line was breached. And so that vapor is just sort of there underneath the slab, and just by taking the slab out, some of it will just release into the air and won't be a problem anymore. But it's just the same chemical, only it's in vapor form at the ground surface, to answer your question.
Thank you, because your last sentence was exactly what I was about to ask you for clarity, and you hit it with the last sentence. Thank you on that.
Okay.
I thought it was, but just making sure. A couple more, just briefly. In regards to the well monitoring, if you would put a finer point on it, when did that monitoring start?
It started in 2007.
Wow. Okay, thank you. And my next question here is, what is the EPA's stance on using the land for either residential and or commercial use at this point?
Well, that's a good question. So we're going to sell it as a commercial property. In order for it to meet residential standards, it's possible, depending on what the final levels are when we get the clearance, that if it were to be used for residential, it would have to be capped, meaning a new slab would have to sort of contain it, but the levels are low enough to meet commercial standards. But we don't really have any, I don't see any possibility that residential would go there. There's currently a Starbucks that's being built right on the corner. And we're going to sell it as a commercial property.
Okay, thank you. Lastly, let me see if I can read through my chicken scratch here. With the legally required disclosures of all of the ongoing environmental issues to this point, how have those issues impacted the sale of the property?
Well, we haven't put it on the market yet, but we have to receive a no further action letter is what the EPA issues before we're going to sell it, so that the new buyer will have that as part of the sale, showing that it has cleared.
Gotcha. I'm with you on that, but just as any property owner, buyer, developer, the advanced questionnaires, have they started to come into SHRA, or at this point, no?
Not yet, no.
Okay, thank you, Mike. Appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Chair.
All right, you're welcome. Manuel, you're next.
Yeah, personally for me, I think that it's a great thing that what you guys are doing. Someone with a public health background, especially with you guys with having environmental health as a key focus to this thing. I think it's a great thing, and I'm also in support of it.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Mhsa?
Well, first of all, thank you for the presentation. I was trying to listen to some of Boyd's questions. I think it was answered, but is it the assumption that all the properties that you own at the SHRA are like evaluated for environmental condition, whether or not they're being used, or they're residential, commercial? Is that something that happens regularly with properties that you already own? I'm just curious.
Yeah, pretty much everything we do has to undergo some sort of environmental review.
Okay. Any other questions? Is there any public comment on this, Lyra?
There's no public comment.
Okay. I halfway heard a motion earlier. I'll accept the motion from Cecile. And who would like to second?
I would like to second.
A man for second. Roll call, please.
Amanfor?
Aye.
Boyd?
Aye.
Morgan?
Aye.
Conley?
Aye.
Exit stage.
Ross?
Aye.
Schumacher Hodge?
Aye.
Stajabu?
Aye.
The motion carries.
All right, thank you very much. That takes us to item number, one page is sorted out, item number 5. The authority to execute 18th month conditional loan commitments with JHC Vista Nueva LLC and Sacramento 11th Street LP in the amount of $2.12 million in Mental Health Services Act funds for each of the rehabilitation of the Vista Nueva and Central Sacramento Studios developments.
Yep. Ann Nichols here is going to do the presentation.
Good afternoon, Chair Morgan and Commission members. Ann Nichols, Management Analyst in Development Finance. In October 2021, this Commission, City Council, and the Housing Authority Board approved SHRA's loan commitments and partnerships on 2 home key projects. With the first Jamboree Housing Staybridge Suites Hotel conversion in North Natomas, and with Danko Communities on the Best Western or Sutter House Inn Motel conversion downtown. Last month, the Housing Authority and developer partners submitted the home key applications to the state for each respective development. We anticipate receiving award letters by the end of this month. This report is for the approval of the Mental Health Services Act, or MHSA, loan commitments for Jamboree and Danko's motel conversion developments. The Staybridge Suites Hotel was constructed in 2007. After conversion to housing, Jamboree Housing will rename the project to Vista Nueva to serve homeless households with at least 1 minor child. There are currently 117 studio, 1 and 2 bedroom units with kitchenettes. 10 of the units will be for transitional housing, 106 units for permanent supportive housing, and 1 management unit. All units are restricted to homeless households earning at or below 30% of area median income. The permanent residential units have all been awarded project-based vouchers. Minor rehabilitation includes renovation to interior units, offices, and common areas. Amenities will include a 24/7 desk clerk, pool, picnic area, multi-purpose room, new children's playground, and pet area. Vista Nueva's property manager is Domus, and Housing with Heart will provide on-site resident services such as after-school assistance and 4.5 case management staff. Additionally, there will be 15 units restricted to the MHSA funding program, and case management and supportive services will be provided directly by the County Department of Human Assistance for those units. If home key funds are awarded, occupancy could occur as early as spring next year. The Best Western Motel, known as Sutter House, was constructed in 1974, located at 12th and H Streets, and will be developed by Danko Communities. Danko is an affordable housing developer who has constructed over 25 affordable multifamily developments throughout California, including several permanent supportive housing developments. This will be their first project in Sacramento. Central Sacramento Studios, the name of the motel after it's converted to housing, will provide 92 permanent supportive homeless housing studios plus 1 management unit. Each unit will include newly installed kitchenettes. The units will be restricted to households earning at or below 30% of area median income. Danko anticipates applying to SHRA for project-based vouchers next year after the kitchens are installed. Repair and renovation to interior units, offices, and common areas will also take place. Amenities will include a 24/7 desk clerk, fitness center, pool, sports area, and pet area. Central Sacramento Studios will be managed by Danko Property Management. They currently manage Danko's permanent supportive housing developments, including a home key funded project in Oakland. Life Steps will provide 15 hours of weekly on-site resident services and 2 case managers. Additionally, there will be 15 units restricted to the MHSA funding program, and case management and supportive services will be provided directly by the county. If home key funds are awarded, occupancy could occur as early as summer next year. In closing, staff is requesting approval of the $2.12 million in MHSA loan commitments for the construction and permanent financing of each Vista Nueva and Central Sacramento studio developments. Staff is available for any questions you may have.
Okay, thank you. Any questions? Seeing no hands up. I got a question. Not at our level, but if somebody were to not approve this at the next step, voting on them together, would that cause a conflict and cause both of them to fail? Or would there be an advantage to bifurcating the motion?
If one person, are you asking if one
If
person?
one project gets, if somebody doesn't like one project and they vote against it because they don't like one of them for some reason, I'm not anticipating that. Maybe you have some information that says for sure that that would not happen.
I think, Brad, that would be an issue in terms of the motion, how they would make that particular motion. Is that correct?
Yeah, I'm actually not really following the question.
So if one of them if somebody doesn't like one of the 2 projects and wants to vote against that project, like at the county supervisors or city council, if putting them together would jeopardize the other one also because of that, would bifurcating the motion now be an advisable thing to do?
Well, what's approved here, if you bifurcate it here, it doesn't necessarily mean that it would go that way to the board or the city council. We would have to submit it that way through the board or city council's process as well. So yes, we can, you as the board can make a motion to bifurcate, but then that motion obviously would then need to, I guess, direct.
I'm just wondering if we already know the votes at city council and county supervisors, is this going to be a for sure pass?
We never know the votes because this is an open and public process.
Yes.
So no, we don't know the votes.
And I also, Chair Morgan, I'd like to add that in October, City Council already approved these two projects.
Okay.
Yeah, this
Are they
is
both
the
in the
coming
city?
back for the MHSA component.
Okay. I won't move that we bifurcate it then, because it sounds solid. So.
Okay.
Any questions of commissioners? I think I already asked that. Any public comment on this one?
No public comment.
I will take a motion for approval.
Make a motion.
Second.
A motion by Nunley, a second by Sajabo. Roll call, please.
Amanfor,
Aye.
Boyd,
Aye.
Griffin. Oh, Morgan,
Aye.
Ross,
Aye.
Schumacher Hodge,
Aye.
Stajabu,
Aye.
Nunley.
Aye.
The motion carries.
Thank you. I was just worried about, if it got there and somebody had a challenge with it. I didn't want the other one to be in jeopardy. Okay. That takes us to a presentation, number 6, success stories.
Yes, and Cheyenne is here and she's going to introduce this particular presentation.
Thank you, Michelle. Good afternoon, Chair Morgan and Commission members. I'm here today to give a quick overview about one of our newest programs and introduce one of our participants from this program to share a bit about his journey. Back in May of this year, HUD, through the American Rescue Plan, created the Emergency Housing Voucher, or EHV program, and provided housing authorities throughout the nation with 70,000 vouchers. Sacramento Housing Authority was awarded 494 of these vouchers. These vouchers provide assistance for families that are homeless, at risk of homelessness, recently homeless, or fleeing or attempting to flee domestic violence. This program is similar to our Housing Choice vouchers in that families who qualify receive a voucher and can rent a unit anywhere in Sacramento that will accept the voucher. But unlike the traditional HCV program, where clients are pulled off of a wait list, these families are required to come by way of referral from our local continuum of care managed by Sacramento Steps Forward. These vouchers also come with a few additional benefits. They have a higher payment standard, and we're able to offer them with an incentive program that includes items like security deposit assistance, application fee assistance, landlord bonuses, just to name a few. This program also has dedicated staff to help assist families in locating a unit. It's just a really quick overview of this exciting new program. There are a lot of other details and requirements for this program, and if anyone is interested, they can look at our website at shra.org. At this time, I'd like to introduce one of our EHV participants. He was actually issued our very first EHV voucher, and he's here to share his housing journey today with us. I will go ahead and turn it over to Mr. William Smith at this time. And William, if you can come off mute.
You're still on mute, William. Lyra,
Okay.
There we go.
Okay, I'm here. Okay,
There
we're
we
good.
go. We can hear you
Okay,
now.
we're good. Okay, cool. Okay. Okay, can I start now?
Yes.
Please.
Okay, my name is William Smith. I'm 41 years old. I have an 11-year-old daughter named Miracle Smith. I suffered from alcohol addiction my whole life. So I was staying with my baby mother, for say 4 years, 4 to 5 years, off and on. And I didn't have no money or nothing. I got fired from my job at the Sacramento Bee. Okay, I got fired, and then I lost my brother. He got shot at Bobby T's sports bar on Stockton Boulevard in Sacramento, California. He was my best friend. Okay, he was my best friend, and I was supposed to have been there with him. Okay, and then the next day, I had to work at the Sacramento Bee. So I had like a nervous breakdown, you know, and I fought it. I fought it for a long time. I fought it for like 3 months. Like I couldn't even focus at work. I couldn't. So like I was drinking, going to work, and then like I got laid off. I got laid off, you know, like by my boss. They're like, we gotta let you go. Okay, so so then I had to like explain that to my baby mom, you know, and she was like, wow, you know, we're gonna be like behind on some rent and stuff, you know. And my daughter was only like I think 4 months old, like 4 months old, you know, and me like struggling with my alcohol addiction. I spent like $20 on like beer. So like 20 times 30, that's like $600. I spent like $600 a month on like alcohol, you know. So like I just like I couldn't provide for my family at all. I couldn't provide, you know, and my baby mother, she was working, I think she was making like about like $13 an hour. $13 an hour. So like I had to like stay home and watch my 3-month-old daughter Miracle. And it was like hard. It was hard on me, like, you know, like drinking and then like feeding her the bottle. I felt bad about myself. I felt real bad, you know. And then she was like, okay, I can't like put up with this no more, you know. So she was like, you got to find somewhere to go. So I was like, okay. So from there on, I became homeless. I was like sleeping at parks, like anywhere you could like rest your head at, you know, friends' houses, you know, off and on and stuff, you know. Then at one point in time, I was staying with somebody on drugs, you know, and then I went to go visit my daughter, Miracle. I came back and my stuff was outside the house, you know, and they called the police on me, said, don't stay there. And the police said, yeah, you got to go. So like, you know, and then I just was like moving around from like Sacramento, like everywhere you could think of, like West Sacramento, North Sacramento, the South Side, East Sacramento, just like moving around, like riding like the light rails from like end to end. You know, I'll just be on the light rail and just be like drinking on the light rail. You know, like I had a serious addiction, you know, and alcohol broke up my happy home. You know, I was on the verge of getting married. I got back with my baby mama, and like we was talking about marriage, and but she said you got to put down that bottle, you got to stop drinking. But like I was like, okay, I'm gonna come up with it. So I quit it for like a week, and I was still drinking. So like she was like, I can't do this no more, you know. So like I'm back on the streets again, you know, like I didn't listen to her, like, you know. And then I went to drug rehab for 6 months, you know, and I was in denial. I at the Veteran Center on Southgate Plaza Boulevard in Sacramento, California. I was there for 6 months. I graduated, and then I met my friend. At like the light rail, and I just he was like, okay, like what you doing? I'm like, oh, nothing, you know, I just had like, you know, like completed like the drug rehab program. You're like, here, man, have a sip of this Hennessy. So like, and that was that, like, you know. And then I felt so bad. I felt so bad doing that. And then I'll stand with him for like you know, like a couple like months and stuff. And then like, okay, you know, I got my family over here, you got to leave. So okay, so I left. So then I was in a room and board. I was in a room and board in Sacramento, right around the corner from Kaiser Hospital. Okay, this was in 2000. and like 2019, I was at the room board in Sacramento. And like, sorry to say that it was a slumlord. Like, we was promised like three meals a day, and like we was only getting like 2 meals a day. Was only getting 2 meals a day, and then like people's stuff was coming up missing and stuff. And a dude had a package from Amazon, and like he had accused me of it, and then he like stabbed me in my throat, and like the police had took him to the hospital, and they just like put like a bandage on my throat. So I was like, oh man, something got to give. You know, I'm tired of living like this. So I called 211, and I got in reach with Sacramento Cover. You know, so I called Sacramento Cover, and I met this nice man named Jesus. So Jesus from Sacramento Cover was like checking up on me, texting me, calling me, like every week. You know, like he became my best friend for real, because I didn't have no family or nothing. Like, you know, I got family out here, but like they don't care about me. Like, you know, like Jesus became my best friend from Sacramento Cover. So he said, Will, like, you know, like how's it going? I'm like, so, you know, he was like, okay, if it get any worse, like let me know. And then I said like, yeah, you know, people still like stealing from me, and like, you know, I don't like it over here. So Jesus told me like to go to Next Move in Mather, California. Mather, Next Move. So he was like, okay, you could be there, you can have your own studio, you know, and they'll like feed you 3 times a day. They got a cafeteria and everything. So like I went in for like the orientation, and I had to take a drug test. I took the drug test and I passed. And like Jesus was there with me like throughout the whole thing. He was like, Will, okay, like let me know, like, you know, like when you get in. I'm like, Jesus, I finally got in. So he was like, oh, congratulations, buddy. Thank you so much. So like while I was at Next Move, like I met like a lot of friends there. I mean, there's some real nice people at Next Move. Like I would recommend like Next Move to anybody, you know, and I think Next Move is like the best interim housing program in Sacramento. You know, that's just my opinion. You know, I mean, like the great staff and the people there is like real cool people. The program manager, Heather, you got Anita, you got Julia, good like housing locators, you know, you got good staff on hand, like real good staff, you know, and so then I got in contact with somebody from Sacramento Cover, because Jesus had got like a promotion, and then Daisy from Sacramento Cover, okay, had became my case manager, you know, and then Daisy was like, well, we got some good news for you. I'm like, what kind of good news? And she was like, well, we can't really say, but you know, it was kind of surprised. So then it was a Zoom meeting with like SHRA. I think it was with Tammy Wilson or something like that, if I can recall, Tammy Wilson from SHRA, and it was like people from Sacramento Cover came along too, and then right then and there, they're like, congratulations, you got your emergency Section 8 voucher. And I was like, oh man, no. They're like, how you feel? Almost passed out, like for real. I'm like, this is the best thing that ever happened to me. Like, you know, I mean, like, I thank y'all so much. I thank SHRA. I thank Sacramento Cover. Thank y'all. I thank Next Move for like making my life so much better at ease. Like, you know, like I just can't like, you know, believe it. When I first got it, I thought it was a dream. And then like Bobby Vang from SHRA became my house locator. So me and Bobby Vane was like working together, and she's a real nice woman. You know, I was like talking to her like almost every day. You know, I was on like Zillow, MatPad, apartments.com, looking for a place. And it's like she was like looking for a place for me too, though. And I was her first case manager. Well, not case manager. I was the first person to work with. Okay, I was the first person to work with, and it just was like it was a good time because like you know like I worked my tail off like around like 10 hours a day, you know like looking for a place, just like writing things down, and then like I'll call her like every morning around like 8 o'clock. I'm like, look, Bobby Vane, this is what I found. She's like, wow, well wow, that's too many, 20 places. I said, yes, I'm really trying to move. She's like, wow, okay, let's just start with like 4 at least. Let's just start with 4. I think 20 too much. Don't you think so? We could do a Zoom meeting like every week to like see like where you're at. So I said, okay, cool, Bobby Vane. So like this happened from like okay, I got my Section 8 emergency voucher on August the 6th. So around like August the 11th, that's when we start like working together. And then like, you know, like I would like apply for like places and stuff. And then I found this place in the South area at Mulberry Estates Apartments off of Franklin and 49th Avenue, close by Florin Road. You know, and they said that there was evicting people, around like 7 people. So I'm like, cool. I'm like, Bobby Vane, guess what? I got some good news. I found this place in the South area off of Franklin Boulevard. It's called Mulberry Estates Apartment. She said, for real as well? I'm like, yes. And she was so excited for me. She said, go apply for it. So I put in like the application fee, which is like $30 and stuff. And I got approved. I had a credit score of like 750, like, and I was so happy, like, you know, and I broke the good news to her, and she was like, oh man. And just the joy, just to hear her on the phone and like the excitement, it just was like so good hearing from her. She was like, congratulations, Will. And so like they had to like get the place ready, and I moved in November the 1st. Yeah. So like I'm just like so happy, and like thank everyone who supported me, thank everyone who believed in me. And I will say for anybody, do not quit, do not give up. Because if you think you're gonna quit, you might as well just like fail already. Don't ever quit. You know, always have hope. So set goals. You know, if you set goals, you can achieve them. You know, without no goals, it's just a dream. You know, and that's what I did. I set goals. Like when I got at Next Move, my goals was like to get a place. I had did that. To be involved with my daughter, I did that. To achieve a high credit score over 700, I did that. And my next goal is to like to get a job, and I'm gonna do that. Yeah.
Well, William, thank you so much for sharing your story, and we are so thrilled that you're number 1. And you're one of our first of many people to get housing. But I think, you know, that what comes across so clearly is your determination and your motivation to move into housing. And you just really just hung in there. And we really appreciate that, and appreciate you really being open and telling us your story and your journey. So thank you so much. I don't know if any of the commissioners have anything.
Comments of commissioners?
Yeah, I'd like to say congratulations, William.
Thank you.
And may you continue to soar.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, I'll just comment real quick. I don't see any other hands up. The conclusion is a great part of the story, and that's the best part. And I see Martin put up his hand, so we'll let him talk.
Oh, well, hey, William, sir, congratulations to you. That's a huge move in life.
Thank
And
you.
I think not only the housing, but I like your goals. Getting
Thank you so much.
together with your daughter and
Thank you.
looking for a job.
Thank you.
And all I have to do is just say, keep moving forward and
Thank you.
don't let those past haunts re-enter your life, because if you keep it clean, keep it moving forward, you're going to receive all kinds of blessings. They'll come your way. So keep doing what you're doing. So that's what I wanted to say.
Thank you. Thank you. And like also, I would like to add that I've been like sober for a year and a half.
Cool.
Yeah, I've been sober for a year and a half.
That's the key. That's the key. That is the key. That's the key to almost everything that you're working on. Just stay sober.
It is.
Okay.
That's right. Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thanks.
All right. Don't see other. I see one more. Emmanuel.
No, that was the clapping hands.
Okay. Okay. I see a couple others like that. Okay.
All right.
Cool. From my side view here, the clapping hands and the raised hand look almost identical. So I should have looked at the picture. I got a different view there. So I have to keep track of who's doing what on one side and look at the pictures on the other. I got two screens. So that's the easy way to manage a Zoom meeting. Well, thank you very much, William. Appreciate your story. Thank you, Cheyenne, for bringing it forward.
Thanks a lot, y'all.
And I believe that takes us to, my paperwork says Executive Director's Report.
So under Executive Director's Report, I know we're about to move into our Fund Inc. After we follow this, but in your roles and wearing your hat as commissioners, this is our last meeting of the year. Usually, during non-COVID, we'd always come together and have our meeting at one of our developments. Unfortunately, we're not able to do that, but it was an opportunity for me to really say thank you to all of you as commissioners. I know you received like a little gift in the mail. Hopefully everyone got it from us. But it's just a little something to say, that we really appreciate your work and your dedication and showing up. So from me to you, thank you. And we look forward to next year.
So do we need to bury that under the tree or should we open it this week?
Depends on the type of person that you are.
All right. Thank you very much.
I would open it though.
Okay. I will take your advice. Because we have another meeting following this, we're going to skip the commission chair's report. And we'll go on to items and questions of commission members, including baby showers and weddings. Emmanuel.
Yeah, I think my only question is just more so of a concern regarding the SHRA program. I typically go around to different places to champion the program, and responses as far as other people, as far as I go to the barbershop, and some of the people are saying that they haven't gotten any responses back, and they're still waiting. And I tell them to be patient, but it's hard for me to continue to give them this message every time whenever I'm going to the barbershop every 2 weeks, and then they're saying what's going on, and I keep telling them to be patient. So I don't know what's going on, but it'd be great if there's something that could be sent to all those who may have applied a long time ago, to possibly let them know that, the system is working, because it's unfortunate to hear that, people are still waiting. Nothing's getting done so far. And it's just exacerbating the situation that each person is experiencing. So I'm not sure what's going on. If someone can find out exactly what process needs to be changed or anything else.
Well, it's
not. I know it's a lot. There's a lot of applications.
There's a lot of applications. I think we've received over 22,000 applications. But what we had to do as a result of the lifting of the moratorium, the rent moratorium, before we would prioritize people, based on, when they came in, and also their income. But we had to change that after the rent moratorium and then prioritize those individuals that are under eviction. So if you have received a notice or an eviction notice, we reshuffled everyone and all of those came to the top. And there are 3,000 people who are in that category. So we are doing that because we absolutely want to make sure that we prevent anyone from losing their housing. And then, of course, that means that other people who might have been close get pushed back down because we have to get those out. And we're working very closely with the courts in that regards. But that's essentially what happened as a result of the moratorium being lifted.
The only one anomaly that I would say regarding that process is that there are some people where I would say the landlord, they're kind-hearted and they don't want to give that eviction notice to the tenant. And even though the tenant has applied for it and the landlord is waiting patiently, unfortunately, they may not get any response back because of this. And that's just one anomaly that I can really pick up regarding this process that probably would be hindering other people who may be doing the same thing.
Yeah, I understand. It's just a matter of, really, we have staff who's working very, very hard. We hit 10,000 individuals that we have assisted through this program already. So it's not as if people aren't, because obviously if you're the ones who are getting the assistance, you're not the ones who are complaining about the assistance. But we are really working hard on the additional people who are in the queue.
All right. Barry, you're next. And welcome to a camera.
Well, thank you, Chair, but I think some of you may feel the opposite of that welcome to the camera. But anyway, I digress. A quick question to Lachelle. You just actually hit the nail on the head for me in regards to how many have been already assisted in regards to SHRA. And this information had come out in a prior meeting in regards to the high number in percentage wise that SHRA is doing over the other housing agencies throughout California. If you have that on the top of your head, if you could give me that information so I can continue to brag about how far ahead Sacramento Housing Redevelopment Agency is processing over the entirety of the state.
Mm-hmm.
If you do have that.
I don't have the information up to date. I know that it might have been at least probably a month ago. The stats nationwide was around 11% in terms of disbursement of these funds. It might be a little bit better than that, but in the city, we are at 98 or 99% of all of the funds that we've dispersed. In the county, I think we're around 70% that we've dispersed. And in addition to that, because we have got so much money out the door, we are making applications to receive some of the money that is being reprogrammed so that we can get even more funds here to Sacramento. So I understand very clearly when people are distressed about not having heard anything, but I just really continue to ask for people's patience as we get these done. We've dispersed $76 million. So it has really been a lot of work and a lot of effort. And this is a program, if you remember, didn't exist at the beginning of the year. So, we got the program, put it in place, got it up and running and started getting that money out the door very, very quickly. So comparatively speaking, we are light years ahead of many, many jurisdictions.
Thank you for that. And that's what I convey to folks who asked the question, as Commissioner Amafort had stated when he goes around other individuals who ask him the same question, where's my money? How come, X, Y, Z? And I whip out, hey, I use 90% because I remembered the 90, but I just wasn't sure where, versus 10%, and which slows everybody down. I said, understand, you are one amongst many. So if you're in there, they will get to you. It's just like anything else. Money never comes as fast as we want it to. But outstanding job, SHRA program for SHRA, raw, go team. And with that, I think that's the business side. And I was slow. I wanted to wait till I got on camera for Mr. William Smith. Fantastic, not fantastic, heartfelt story. And we all have one. We all have a story, whether it's on one track or another. We all have a story. And the key from your message was, perseverance. From losing someone as you did, it's understandable. If no one has lost someone that dear to them, they can't really understand your story. They can imagine, kind of seem, but if they haven't felt that kind of loss, if you haven't gone through it, you just haven't gone through it. But for you to go from there to where you are, you kept fighting, you kept channeling, and it's fantastic. I'm glad to see, Brother Smith, that you keep moving forward and just keep pushing forward and keep opening those doors wider as they crack open. You know how we are. They crack open, hey, put your whole foot in, swing the hand like, I'm sorry, yes, I'm here. What was it that you had for me? And talk them into giving whatever it is that you need, and then from the need into the want. But outstanding. I'm appreciative of your story, brother. Thank you. Thank you, Chair.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, Mhsa, you're next.
Yes, thank you. I just want to say thank you for the gifts. I did open mine. I appreciate the local, buying it from local businesses as well. So thank you for that. I wanted to just ask, this is obviously my first year on the commission, or the first 6 months. And I'm not sure how it normally would work in person. This is more logistical. Is it usually, if we were in person, would there usually be like a presentation, like a visual presentation along with the verbal presentations? I just find for myself sometimes, or maybe because I work in the corporate world where I see a lot of PowerPoints and stuff, but sometimes other than having the documents, I don't know when it's required to have a presentation, or if I should be expecting certain things moving forward, just so that I can process it a little bit better live.
Yes. Well, it's really the same live as it is in person in terms of presentations. It will vary. Sometimes it's pretty straightforward because a lot of the information and materials are included in the packet. I try not to do death by PowerPoint too much because sometimes it just becomes so overwhelming, so many different PowerPoints. And so we try and keep those, for when we really, really need them. But like during the budget process, all of the budget, I'm not sure if you were here during those, but all of those were PowerPoint presentations because it just helps to give a visual representation of the information. But we will keep that in mind as we go forward.
Okay, thank you.
All right, Martin, you're next.
Yes, thank you. My comment is sort of in line with what Commissioner Amefor and Commissioner Boyd were discussing. I know it's super hard. Thousands and thousands of applications are coming in. I know in the presentations, we, getting the information out, we were wishing and hoping that people would have applied earlier, right? Because now, everything's hitting the roof, and now it's, here we go. So that's part of the outcome. I definitely understand it. The question, and it's just a question, it doesn't necessarily mean that there's capacity to do it, but with the volume of applications and the possibility, even though individuals may receive an eviction notice, that adds a lot of stress, and the timing of the funding may, this is my guess, maybe I'm incorrect, may result in them not getting the funds in time, and they actually get evicted because, of the moratorium expiring. Is there any consideration of hiring or contracting other agencies, if it is possible, to help process these applications in order to try to move through it as fast as possible, given that the capacity of SHRA may be overwhelmed at this point with the number of applications.
Yes, well, we are actually working directly with the courts. And so what I've said is please do not self-evict. In other words, do not leave. Because even as those get to the courts are calling. They have a hotline to us. We have a relationship with the eviction courts. They are calling, they are checking to see if someone is in the queue or has applied, then that influences their decision. So if it's only about non-payment of rent, so let's say there's not other issues involved with why that landlord is taking, if it's only non-payment of rent, then that's when they will look to say, okay, you know, when are they going to get it? And then they will give more time so that those payments can be made. So I really do appreciate the fact that the courts are really trying to ensure that people are not becoming homeless as a result of non-payment of rent because this program exists.
Okay, so I think that's good news. So if they are informed, the resident themselves is informed, they receive an eviction notice and they say, you know what, I'm not leaving, you know, the landlord cannot evict them. They can't put a lock on their door or so forth.
They have to get a judgment from the courts.
The court says now you can move them. Until that, they don't have to move, right?
Correct.
That's great news. Okay, so, and then they can give extended time so that payment could get there and whatever's needed, which should allow them to stay in if they apply. So the main thing is they have to get in there and apply before they get that eviction notice.
Because even if they have gone through, let's say they have are in the eviction process, then even the courts are going to say, did you apply? If they say no, then they're going to say, then you need to apply to this program. Our actual program is on their website. A link to our program is on their website.
So even if they get an eviction notice and then, you know, more or less in real time apply, that could save them from getting evicted because now the court's involved in saying apply and then their status moves up. Oh, that's fantastic.
Make sure that, and this is obviously based on the fact that they qualified for the program, you know, but they are working very, very closely with us in that regards.
Okay, well, that does my heart well, and good luck with all that. I know it's tough.
Yeah.
There's your additional staff. Okay, Barry, you're next.
Thank you. And trying to remember, Mike. Oh, I forgot to say thank you for the gift. I haven't received it. I haven't checked my mailbox. I'm just slow that way. But I know it's wonderful, and I do believe I forgot to thank SHRA for the second DoorDash gift that happened. I think back in September.
Oh, back last year. Mm-hmm.
Okay, it took me until September to use it, but either or. But thank you.
You're welcome. At least you used it, so that's good.
Emmanuel.
Yeah. Once again, thank you for the gift. Also, I appreciate it. I guess so. Just to piggyback on what Ross was saying, so you guys do have additional administrative assistance for this to process this. Besides that. So my only question is that once they confirm with the courts, what's the turnaround time for them to even get the funds by then, so that they can, I mean, is there an average turnaround time for that?
So are you saying, let's say they get to they end up at eviction court and they're saying, hey, I have applied to the program. So then there is a number that the courts have directly into our office that is always answered by someone. It is not a message, a voicemail, anything. And so then based on the fact that they're there in front of the judge, then they get prioritized. So then they're really working to get that check cut as quickly as possible. I would say if, let's see, I think they're talking about within a week, and the judge will usually give them a stay so that we can get that out.
Okay. All right. And I guess my final question would be, so around how many applications are completed or processed or even responded back to a day do the staff usually work on? Is it like a set of how many? Just so the thing is that a lot of these people are coming to me. I can give that explanation that, you know, we're doing really good compared to other cities and other states and so forth. But one thing that I've also noticed is that the relationship between the tenant and the landlords it starts to become a bit shaky. Because even if they do receive those funding, the relationship between the tenant and the landlord will be shaky, where the landlord may not tolerate any further lateness or any further issues and would be very quick to want to evict the person again. So that's the only side effects that I can see from that. So my only main question is just to really get a good ballpark that, you know, look, guys, they're processing close to 500 applications or so many applications a day, just so I can really quantify the amount of people. I mean, you
I
said
don't know if it's so many
10.
applications per day, but I think it is in terms of how much is in each average check run, in terms of how much money that we're getting out. And average check runs are around $1 million to $1.5 million, and we do check runs twice a week.
So that's for the whole week.
Or once a week. So about $1 million, $1.5 million is going out on a weekly basis.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good number. Okay. Sajabu.
When is our next meeting?
We are working on that. I think it's January 19th, is it, Lara? It's definitely, it's not the first meeting in January, that's for sure.
Yes, January 19th is the current scheduled next week.
January 19th.
And thank you for the gift.
You're welcome.
Yes, thank you, in case I didn't say that. I see no more hands. I see nobody waving. We are going to adjourn the meeting and it'll come back as funding. So we are adjourned. And we'll call to order the December 1st meeting of Fund Inc. at 5:16 p.m. on December 1st, 2021. Because the meetings are currently being held remotely, options for comment include, this will sound like a repeat because it is, you can submit comments to public comment at shra.org and they will be read into the record. You may also phone 888-970-1444 to comment during the citizens comment period. To comment during the citizens comment period, I'm going to stumble all over this. Please call during roll call to comment on any item. Call in as that item is being addressed. Roll call, please.
Amanfor?
Here.
Boyd?
Yeah, excuse me. Yes, here. Also, Chair Morgan, could you actually speak a little bit louder? It was hard to hear you. Thank you.
I'm sorry. Is that better?
Morgan?
Here.
Nunley? Nunley?
She had to step out.
Okay. Ross?
Here.
Schumacher Hodge?
Here.
Sajabu?
Here.
You have a quorum.
All right. Thank you. Citizens' comments. Can you read the paragraph for us, please?
Sure. While the board welcomes and encourages participation in the board meetings, it would be appreciated if you would limit your comments to 3 minutes so that everyone may be heard. Public testimony will be permitted on each agenda item as it is called. Matters under the jurisdiction of the board and not on the posted agenda may be addressed by the general public at this time. Because meetings are currently being held remotely, options for comments include: 1, comments may be emailed to publiccomments@shra.org and they will be read into the record during the meeting. 2, comments may be made by phone by dialing 888-970-1444. To comment during the citizens' comments on the agenda, please call after roll call has ended. To comment on a specific agenda item, please call at the beginning of that agenda item.
Thank you. Is there any public comments to the board?
No. Not at this time.
All right. That moves us to the minutes. Any changes or corrections to the minutes of December 2nd, 2020? Seeing none, the minutes stand as submitted. Business item 1 is the 2021 Foundation Uniting Needs and Dollars Fund, Inc. Annual Report and release of requested proposals and authorization to award funds.
We have Stephanie Green, who's going to be giving the presentation for the funding for this year.
Thank you, Lachelle, and good evening, members of the board. My name is Stephanie Green. I'm a management analyst here at SHRA, and tonight I'll be presenting you with an update on Fund Inc. and recommend the approval of 4 projects for funding. Fund Inc., which stands for the Foundation Uniting Needs and Dollars, is a nonprofit entity that was created in 1983, and at the time of inception, the SHRC was designated as its board of directors. The purpose of Fund Inc. is to promote and support SHRA programs through charitable contributions, and those contributions are used for activities that benefit residents of SHRA housing and other clients of SHRA-sponsored programs. Fund Inc. is supported by employee payroll deductions, donations, and may also include contributions from outside organizations. Each year, potential projects are identified through a proposal process, and an employee committee consisting of Fund Inc. contributors review the proposals and make recommendations to the board for which projects to select for funding. This year, an RFP was issued in October, and a total of 4 proposals were received. The Employee Donor Committee is making the recommendation to fund all proposals in full, which includes the following: $1,000 to the Housing Choice Voucher Family Self-Sufficiency Program for tools and activities targeted at improving the program participants' skills and abilities to promote economic self-sufficiency, $500 to public housing for small raffle prizes as incentives to encourage public housing resident participation in self-sufficiency workshops, $1,000 to Aldergrove Public Housing to provide equipment and supplies to community volunteers for participating in the Community Enrichment Program, and $1,000 to the Veterans Affairs Supportive Housing Program for security deposit assistance for homeless veterans. These recommendations will, if approved, award a total of $3,500 from Fund Inc.'s undesignated fund balance. As of October 31st, 2021, Fund Inc. had an undesignated balance of $4,820 and an additional unexpended allocation from proposals awarded last year of $7,185 for a total fund balance of $12,005. With the award of $3,500, the new Fund Inc. undesignated balance will be $8,505 before the remaining 2021 employee contributions and other donations, and the expenditure of any remaining 2021 awarded funds. Any unused previously allocated funds as of December 31st will be defunded and reallocated to the undesignated fund balance. At this time, staff requests approval of the recommended projects and authorization of the release of a request for proposals in 2022. Thank you for your time. This concludes my presentation, and I'm available for questions.
All right, thank you. Questions of directors? Barry, you're up.
Thank you, Chair. Stephanie, hold on, I don't know if I'm getting feedback. I'm sorry. My math was failing me a little bit here. Just for the easy side of it, after allocations for designated charities or recipients, there we go. There still will be a remaining balance of $8,505 prior to any 2021 additions from employee additions. Did I hear you correct on that?
Yes, so the last balance of the undesignated fund balance we received was on October 31st. And as of that date, after awarding the $3,500 requested tonight, the undesignated fund balance will be $8,505. And that's after any additional employee contributions or other donations we may receive after that October 31st date, because we can still receive donations up till the end of the year. And there are also funds that were awarded last year that may have not been expended yet. They have until the end of this year to expend those funds. So that balance also includes that amount.
Okay, that part, that's where I went a little, I wasn't quite clear on you, with you. So it was just, it appears to be a large amount still sitting there, and wondering, did we just not have the need from the community asking for funding, which is great, meaning folks didn't need the money. But at the same time, as you stated, well, it's a twofold question then. The monies that were allocated or appropriated for the charities last year, curious, how come haven't they claimed the rewards? I know you can't answer for them, but have any information come to light? Why?
Yeah, so there's two parts to answer that question. The first is that we did actually have an undesignated balance available to award to new projects this year of about 4,200. We set aside a little bit for administrative expenses. And unfortunately, we did only receive 4 proposals for a total of 35. So we didn't receive a request for the full amount of available funds this year. We have made an attempt to promote the funding more with employees. But unfortunately, we still only received 4 proposals this year. But we are working on trying to identify ways we can promote promote funding in the future to hopefully get more interest and get more proposals from employees. And then the second part of that question was about the projects that were awarded last year. And we do ask for updates throughout the year on how they're doing and if they expect to be able to expend those funds. And all of the projects that were awarded last year did say that they do expect to use all the funds by the end of this year. Sometimes for one reason or another, depending on the type of program that it is, they may only expend funds once or twice throughout the year. And sometimes that may happen at the end of the year. I can't, like you said, I can't speak specifically for the programs and why they haven't spent the money, but they all have said that they do expect to spend those funds. And we do check in with them on a regular basis to see where they're at on that.
Well, that is great, just so that they don't lose out on an opportunity of funding that was sitting there for them. And at the same time, with only 3 RFPs brought forth, half says fantastic, because it seems people are flush. And on the other side of that, the last 2 questions. When is the last date that the fund accepts RFPs? And can commissioners suggest charities to whoever we would want, whoever we need to submit those charities to, as a, you guys may want to take a look at these, or is it strictly we should stay hands off of that and just let the employees committee pick the charities for which they want to allocate the funds to?
So commissioners or board members would be able to identify opportunities for funding. Each opportunity would have to be managed by a staff member. So you would have to identify a staff member that could help manage any funds that are awarded. Any opportunity that you are trying to submit for funding would have to directly support SHRA projects or programs, or users of SHRA projects or programs. So that's certainly allowed if it meets those requirements. Does that answer? Yes. Just to clarify, it can't be just any charity. It has to be someone who is specifically working and benefiting, as Stephanie said, SHRA clients or residents.
Fantastic. And the first part, I believe, was I asked, when is the last day that you guys accept the RFPs? Yes, thank you for reminding me that. So we usually put the RFPs out in October of each year. This year, we gave staff about 3 weeks to submit proposals.
it was originally 2 weeks, and then we extended it for a week, and we still only got one extra proposal. So next year we may try to extend it even further than that, and give them maybe 4 weeks or even longer to submit proposals, just so they have more time. But we do talk about funding at various opportunities throughout the year, so they are aware that it's coming up. So yeah, so they had 3 weeks this year. And then at some point we have to close it so that we can, get the staff report together and do all the administrative stuff that we need to do to approve the projects by the end of the year.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And my apologies. And thank you for correcting me. Not commissioners, board members. Forget we've changed meetings. Thank you. Thank you, Chair.
Great. Thanks, Mary. Mhsa, you're next.
Yeah, thank you. Well, first of all, I think it's great to contribute to any of these causes. Obviously, like the money, providing money for those issues are good. I was thinking of ways like how you're collecting it, and based on the conversation you were just having with Commissioner Boyd, how the different sources of the funds. Are commissioners allowed to contribute to these? I know it's mostly dedicated to staff, but I was curious if that's part of the process as well, or potentially like, promoting that in the future during the cycle of collecting funds.
Yes, we take donations from anybody. So board members may certainly donate towards funding.
And in the past, when we actually met in person at Christmas, we usually kind of had like a contribution box that if commissioners wanted to, they could put in a check or something for funding.
Okay, I wasn't sure if that was like illegal or against the rules.
It's a valid 501c3. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
All right. Martin, you're up next.
Thank you. Yeah, I think that wasn't me. Second. Sounds good though. So I wanted to just commend learning about the program. That was great to read about it, and then to see staff contributing and so forth. So that's excellent, contributing to the cause. I do have a question kind of related to Commissioner Boyd's. If funds are not reused, are not fully utilized, has the opportunity been given to those that submitted an RFP that they could have a greater amount of funds to use for their project? And I don't know if it is a goal to expend all the funds that have been budgeted each year, but if it is, maybe those that submitted the RFP didn't think as big as they could, and if they had an opportunity to say, hey, no more applications have come in, you have more funding, can you do more? And sometimes they can say yes, and sometimes they can say no, what we submitted is all we need. But it may be a great bonanza and opportunity for them to have more. Is that possible?
That's a good question. This is the first instance that I've seen where we actually have not gotten enough proposals to cover the fully available amount. And we did not discuss, or the selection committee did not discuss allocating the additional funds throughout the proposals that we did receive, but that's certainly something we can discuss and add into our policies or for the program if it's something that's allowable under the regulations for this program.
Would that be something targeted for this particular budget proposal, or would that be a policy change, if possible, for an upcoming year, the next year?
That would be in the upcoming year, because that needs to be articulated as a part of the notice of funding availability that goes out, so that everyone understands exactly, the rules, so to speak, of the game. And the selection committee can take that under consideration before they put their NOFA out for next year. But Stephanie is right. In past years, we've done this obviously for many, many years. Usually we get enough requests that take up the majority of the dollars. But this year we kind of didn't get as many. And, you know, this is a different time that we're in as well. You know, COVID has impacted all kinds of things that we normally would do.
Okay, yeah, well, there's a suggestion, if that's something.
Yeah, I think that's a great suggestion. So I think the committee can take that under advisement.
Yes, definitely.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments? I will entertain a motion to pass the proposal.
I'm Martin.
Okay, Martin, you had a second?
A second.
So Jabu seconded. Roll call, please.
Danforth,
Aye.
Boyd,
Aye.
Morgan,
Aye.
Nunley, Ross,
Aye.
Schumacher Hodge. Schumacher Hodge,
Aye.
Sajabu,
Aye.
Starks, is not here. Motion carries.
Starks is here.
Starks is here.
I'm here,
Starks?
but guys, I'm sorry. I'm so thrown off, but I'm here. And yes, I'll support it.
Motion carries.
Thank you very much. With that, unless there's any other business, we will be adjourned. See,
Well, I'm getting laughs here from my fellow board members. You know, there's a thing. I apologize. I can only apologize, guys. I am totally thrown off. So anyway, glad to be here.
Well, the great thing is you can go back and watch it on the archive tape.
Well, I know I'm going to hear it from some people here. Barry Boyd especially.
And you're about to hear it right. You're about to hear it right now, Sam. You have the record, so I don't ever have to worry about how late I am as being the record holder of lateness.
I got a
appreciate that,
notice.
Mr. Starks.
I got a notice, and I was like, not today. And then I remember, so it's my bad. It's not that I'm late. I just totally, thought I had the rest of the evening to myself, and I'm like, there is a meeting tonight. So my bad. Sorry.
No problem, Brother Starks. And
there's a thing called grace. I hope you guys have grace and it gets extend.
We'll have to assign somebody to call you every month.
That would be, I wouldn't be mad at that.
Thank you. To everyone.
However, I don't
enjoy
plan on being chair next year, so it wouldn't be me.
Everyone enjoy your holidays, and we'll see you guys, I believe, January 19th. So enjoy your
January
Christmas,
19th.
enjoy your time off.
And thank you for the wonderful gift, you guys.
Oh, good. Glad you.
Yeah. Thank you.
Well, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to all.
All right.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Hey, Trish. All right.
Bye-bye.